I'm going to make this video as brief as practicably possible. However, the essence of my videos is actually to teach and ensure that the integral knowledge is passed and that the audience going through or listening or watching the content will flow with it as it would deeply resonate with them. I know you must have seen or heard about white people or other Africans speaking different Nigerian languages like Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Efik, etc. Speaking a dialect or a language other than your language is very crucial. Yes, we know that language is a medium of communication, is a medium of expression, okay, of one's self. But understanding people's languages or dialect makes it easier to blend in.
Assalamu alaikum. Ya kasuwa. Yawa. Baka da pepe ko? Pepe.
In our modern society, people can easily welcome you. People can easily patronize you. People can easily warn you of any impending danger. Many foreigners, especially migrants, are learning, and some speak different Nigerian languages.
Ilé Ifẹ̀ àtọ̀yọ́ ohun tó sọ̀rọ̀ ni pé láti ìgbà táwọn òyìnbó amúnisìn wọ́n wá kọ́ àwọn èèyàn wa wípé àṣà wọn ò dáa tó.
Láti ṣe àlàyé ohun tí wọ́n ń sọ àwọn òyìnbó amúnisìn ìyẹn ní àmọ̀ sí colonial masters fún àǹfààní àwa tá a bá fi bẹ́ẹ̀ gbọ́ Yorùbá tó bẹ́ẹ̀.
So láti ìgbà yẹn wọ́n ti ń kàn wọ́n lábùkù wípé àṣà nǹkan tó dáa àṣà òun rere. Rí ẹ̀sìn àbáláyé.
This is applaudable because our tongue is wired differently. Okay, the way we are being trained, starting from cradle to learn our languages, seem to make it easier for us. However, foreigners, especially those from the Western world, faraway countries, it will be very difficult for them to actually speak our language. I'm just going to give an example. Imagine you as a Nigerian trying to speak Chincho, that is Chinese language. It's going to be very difficult for you to pronounce, but with dedication and continuity as well as consistency and practice, which is very important, you will gradually master it. But in today's video, we are talking about an entirely different thing. These people aren't immigrants in Nigeria. Like when I say immigrants, I'm talking about modern day immigrants. I am not talking about Nigerians in the present day diaspora. You say, me, I know they do again, no, this country, I want japa. You just pack your things, boom, you are out. That's not what I'm talking about. And maybe when you go there, you will now start learning the language or you start speaking Nigerian languages. No, that is not what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about people who make up an indigenous communities. I'm talking about tribes or people in a faraway land outside Nigeria. These are people whose ancestors had naturalized in a particular place. Let's say 150 years, 200 years ago. I'm talking about people that are there from 18th centuries down. They are indigenous people of the land. Some may not be up to tribes, but they are indigenous people of the land. However, their indigenous languages, their cultural values, their customs, their practices are same with us in Nigeria, brothers and sisters.
Walking down the streets, feeling the breeze in the sunshine state where dreams come with ease. Palm trees swaying with the ocean in view. This is the place where I always feel brand new. Sipping on a smoothie, chilling by the shore. Got my shades on, feeling like I can't be ignored. Sun-kissed skin, feeling so alive in the soft rap game. I strive to thrive. Waves crashing on the sand as I ride the vibe. Soft rap flowing, let the
means the vital essence in Egyptian mythology. In Egyptian mythology, there were different parts of the soul that fit together to create a soul. And Ka was what food and drink gave nourishment to. And when you died, the Ka left the valley. The valley? You can tell them in Wales, the body. But the initial bit, Ahli, would mean turning back to the opening, basically the womb, turning back to the mother in a sense. It could mean that Africa means motherland, or going back to the beginning.
To make it make sense, let us just go to the continent of Africa. Africa is derived from the Egyptian word Africa. Okay, Ka is the light, that's the source of life and energy. Okay, so Africa means the opening of Ka, which is the source of light, the opening of the source of life, that's the womb. Okay, Africa means the birthplace, so we can just say back to the beginning, that is motherland. Meanwhile, we from the continent do not call ourselves Africans. We are the Alkebulans, which is the garden of life, the mother of mankind, which is the same thing as the Africa as they stated. The Alkebulans have major clans. We have the Libyans, we have the Ethiopians, have the Nubians, and the Moors. The Moors already migrated, okay, they crossed to Gibraltar and they went to conquer nations and the rest of them. To make this whole teaching make sense, let me take you to the territory of the Ethiopians. Let us look at what Herodotus, that's Herod, stated in his scripts in the 8th century before Christ. He now said, where the south declines towards the setting sun. Now look at the map very well. Lies the country called Ethiopia, the last inhabited land. Brothers and sisters, go through this. You will see that the last inhabited land is here before you now see the ocean. Their gold is obtained in great plenty. Brothers and sisters, look at the whole thing. You see the Gold Coast, you see Cameroon, you see all these countries. That's where you obtain gold plenty. Father's end of what? Of Libya. They have huge elephants, so huge elephants abound. Brothers and sisters, you can see it. With wild trees of all sorts. They are ebony, and the men are taller, handsomer, and long-lived than anywhere else. Herodotus also refers to these Ethiopians. He said they are the Ethiopians of Africa. That is the ones from Libya. The Ethiopians that he was describing from Libya. That's the Ethiopians of Africa. That they have the woolliest hair of all men. There are also Ethiopians of the East. That's the Nubians. Those with straight hairs. But these ones are the woolliest of all men. Looking at this, the creation of the country Nigeria was not just to create a country, it was a power move. That was why they came to Ethiopia and entered the land of the Guineas and the land of the dark Libyans, the Greeters. Now, in the land of the Guineas, they went and pulled a part of the Biafrans, pulled a part of the Benins, and they picked a part of the dark Libyans, that is the Zamfara. So merge these three entities together to form a nation. And when they formed us, of course, the first they did was to destroy our communication skills, the writing skills, the oral communication. We all have our signs and symbols because we are artistic in nature. So they did not understand our method of communication, our write-up, our letters. So they decided to do away with it. The symbolic and writing skills of Africans in ancient times was so unique. The Egyptians, they used their unique Kemetic hieroglyphs. Okay, most nations on the north of Africa, they use Arabic scripts. Mali used Dogon script. Those at the Horn of Africa, they used the G's script. The Sudanese people, they used the Nubian script. Now let us come to the western part of Africa. The Liberians, they used the Vai script. Let me take you to the ancient Gold Coast. That is the present day Ghana. They used the Adinkra symbol for communication. Back to the ancient Benin, the Yorubas, they used the Ajami scripts. That's the Oldwa people. Then if you go to the Biafrans, they use in CBD. Brothers and sisters, when I'm talking about Biafrans, I'm not talking about the present day Biafra that we talk about. The present day Biafra that you hear about in Nigeria are a part. They are just a fraction of the Biafrans. Okay, so the Biafrans, look at the map here. You will see the Biafrans. Now they are all countries, but in the ancient times, these are smaller clans or units of people or territories under the major Biafran land. They use CBD. Okay, now their CBD is divided into the spiritual and the physical CBD. So it is for Biafrans. So when I talk about Biafrans, I'm talking about Ekoid people. I know many of you do not know the meaning of Ekoid. Ekoid. You can on your own go and verify to know more about the Ekoid people. So they are the Ekoid people, the Efik people, the Ibibio people, the Igbo people, the Bahumonas people, okay, and some other people too. These are major tribes in the Biafrans. Unfortunately, the West dissolved the languages in Nigeria and the writing symbols. Only a very few people can write their traditional scripts. Many people, especially the recent generations, are not aware of it. They don't know anything about it. CBD is now used in Haiti and in Cuba. They call it the Anaforuana and the Veve in Haiti and Cuba. So Nigeria is a sovereign land containing merged ancient kingdoms, dynasties, nations with so many diverse cultures, languages, belief system. It was named as they all are connected to the Niger River. So they said this is the Niger area, which is Nigeria. Nigeria was formed from there. We also know how the slave trade of a thing was carried out. However, it wasn't a smooth journey. Those people, in all their unique ways, retained their customs. Do you know that it even got to a point whereby some of our brothers and sisters were forced to drink from the well of forgetfulness? The well of forgetfulness. That was a well that they drank from, and a lot of them forgot where they came from and they just obeyed. Okay, I don't know, you can call it manipulations. I don't know whether it had voodoo or anything in it, but that was the story that we were told. However, it was not everyone that was affected. Many of them were forced not to speak their languages. They were able to scribble their languages. Some of them, they had to fuse their languages into some of their new languages that they were forced to learn. In as much as they were forced not to speak, but whom they are you cannot remove it from them. In this video, I won't be talking about the Togolese. I won't be talking about the Benin Republic, that is the Benin Republic. No, I won't be talking about the Cameroonians. They are neighboring countries. So surely there will be this intermingling, migration, easy migration. I am not focusing on them because they are not news. Okay, we know about that. However, I'm talking about faraway countries. In Sierra Leone, it is made up of both the Yorubas, the Efik, the Igbo, the people from the diaspora, different parts of Africa, that were taken for slavery, but along the way, they were also released. Okay, they were freed by the anti-slave trade movement. The Creole people are from different parts of Africa, okay, and even the diaspora, but majority from Nigeria. That's why you hear names like Oluwole, Damilola, etc., and even their cultures. Okay, all right. So there are notable figures that when I mention their names, you'll be like, oh yes, they are Creole of Sierra Leone. I'm talking about people like Emmanuel Adeniyi Thomas, who, although most of them later trace back their origin to Nigeria. And we're talking about Sakito Yajasa, Christopher Okoro, Adelaide Kesi. So these are Creole. Okay, those are the people that align with the Sierra Leonean cultures there, but over time, many of them had traced back their roots. Let me take you to Gambia. These are the Ako people of Gambia. You can see their cap, check out their drum. They are of Yoruba descent. And they keep to their practices of the practices of their ancestors. Let's go to Brazil.
Àṣẹ. Ohun tá a bá ti tú níbí lẹ́yìn ẹ bá wa tú. Ohun tá a bá ti dè níbí lẹ́yìn kẹ́ bá wa dè. Tó bá fi máa di àmọ́dún tá a bá tún máa péjọ níbí kẹ́nìkọ̀ọ̀kan nínú wa má pẹ̀ dín o. Orí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ o nítorí pé ọ̀rọ̀ tí òkété bá ti bálẹ̀ sọ nílẹ̀ gbọ́ àwíṣẹ́ ni ti fá fọ́ṣẹ́ ni tọ̀hún mìlà ohun tá a wí lẹ́yìn kárọ̀kọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ ó dàṣẹ.
Meu nome é Ana Carolina, eu tô aqui no Festival de Itaguaí de Oxum com a confraria de Oloxuns na presença do Baba Mauro de Oxum. Tô muito feliz por a gente ter recebido essa homenagem nesse evento tão legal.
Èmi ni Ayọ̀kúnlé Omiṣakin Ọbalúfẹ̀ láti ìlú Ilé-Ifẹ̀ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà.
Ìlú Brazil láti wáyé ní Itaguaí níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe ọdún Ọ̀ṣun. Báwo ni ẹ ṣe rí sísì tí wọ́n ń ṣe ní Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo?
Wọ́n ní ẹni tó bá fò sókè ò bẹ́jọ́ lórí ó yàtọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n àwọn náà gbìyànjú. Ọmọ tó bá máa rìn á ṣubú á dìde á bó lórókún. Mo mọ̀ pé ọjọ́ kan táwọn náà ṣe tá súnmọ́ bá ṣe ń ṣe ní Ọ̀ṣun. Ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọ́n bá wa gbàṣà wa lárugẹ ni tá bá wo dáadáa torí àlè dá nìkan ṣe. Ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn a máa débẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ kan ẹ jẹ́ ká máa ṣe lọ.
Sou Vitor Babá Ogum e hoje no dia 31 de março está tendo Festival Oxum aqui na casa do Baba Elias.
Oxum, ó meu, tá o afiju arumolé, oriei eu, Oxum, ó meu, Oxum que é pedra, Oxum que é água, Oxum que nos abençoa a todos que estão aqui no dia de hoje. Que axé orixalé uim, axé orixalé miô, erumolé abá, axé orixalé miô. Que esse axé de Oxum, axé das águas, ela seja sempre crescente na nossa vida. Que nunca nos deixa fraquejar, que nunca nos deixa cair pelo chão. Que a nossa cabeça sempre esteja erguida. Eu cumprimento hoje.
Ile mobolá, ile moboye, ile moborixá, Ijechaquelo e Jore, ile moborixá, ile mobolá, ile moboye, ile moborixá, Ijechaquelo e Jore, ile moborixá. Orieye mio, orieye o imoleo, orieye mio, orieye o imoleo, iamidide, iamidide o, iamidide, iamidide o. Oxum yeye o, mi ele índio ege. Oxum yeye o, mi ele índio ege. Ọmọ de o, orieye o ege, orieye o imolé o. Que todos sejam abençoados por Oxum, que Oxum dê axé, prosperidade, vida longa. Em nome de Orumilaifá, em nome de Xangô, em nome de Axabi Sikirati, que hoje eu carrego o oloye dela.
You saw what I saw, right? Yoruba language is spoken in some parts of Brazil. These are Brazilians whose ancestors were taken to Brazil. They remember their culture, they remember their identity, they remember their history, and they preserved them. The most amazing thing is that they are stuck with their practices because of the emphasis laid by their forefathers. Brothers and sisters, information is very crucial. Information is important. Always teach your younger ones or your children history and let the history be preserved and taught amongst them. There are yearly celebrations, it may be annual celebrations, and even the Oni of Ife visited the diaspora in Brazil and commissioned the state of Bahia as the Yoruba capital of America. Let's go to Equatorial Guinea. The Igbos call Equatorial Guinea Panya. Okay, Equatorial Guinea is a Central African country. Okay, they speak French, they speak Spanish and Portuguese. Okay, that's the official languages. Now, for the Igbos that are there, many people may be thinking that, oh, these are the Igbos that went there in the 1960s, during war. Brothers and sisters, these are immigrants. Igbos that you see there that went there maybe 30 years, 40 years ago, they are immigrants. They can naturalize and become citizens, yes. But that's not the Igbos I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Igbos that were taken by the colonial masters in the 19th century. I'm talking about 1801 plus. The slave masters took them. So they went there to work for them. They've been there, they naturalized there, married there, because many of them were taken when they were young. These were young boys, young women that were taken. And the elderly ones amongst them, they must have died. I'm talking about up to 200 years ago in the 19th century. So in the 19th century, we're talking about from 1801. So let's say 1801 to 1901 is 100 years. From 1901 to 2001 is another 100 years. So they are up to 200 years or more there. Because you're already in 2024. They are indigenous people. There is a community of the Igbo people there, and they are indigenous, and they speak the Igbo language. Igbos in Panya are seen as the third largest group in Equatorial Guinea. Some will say, oh, their language is a little bit different from Igbo language. I would tell you that it is their dialect. Biaika is a normal dialect in Igbo land. It may not be the dialect written in textbooks, but it is a dialect. It is just like when an Oka person is speaking Igbo. So an Igbo person will be like, oh, what kind of language is this? There are some twists, there are some additions, but when you listen well, you understand what the person is talking about. It's just like somebody from Abia State speaking, somebody from Ebonyi State speaking, or someone from Nsukka, Enugu State speaking. They are all speaking Igbo, but they have different dialects, different ways of mentioning things. Biaika means come here. Some also say Bianca, come here. Biango, come here. Biaibo, come here. Bieba, come here. So it's Igbo. Their dialects are the same. And again, people from different parts of Igbo land coming together in the ancient time. Of course, languages will evolve.
Des Igbo du Gabon, la cérémonie riche en couleurs a vu une forte participation des Igbo venus de tous les pays, mais aussi quelques autorités de la République gabonaise. Une fierté, une joie pour la communauté.
Aujourd'hui, on est en train de couronner le roi de Igbo au Gabon. Aujourd'hui, tous les 5 États de Nigeria qui parlent Igbo. C'est un chef. Moi, je suis très heureux d'être honoré aujourd'hui par mon peuple, les Igbo, ici au Gabon. Donc, aujourd'hui, c'est un grand jour pour moi. Avec ma famille, nous sommes en joie parce qu'on nous a honorés de vraiment c'est extraordinaire parce que tout le monde entier était là.
On est content de voir, malgré que nous sommes Igbo, mais on a quand même l'extérieur qui nous assiste et c'est vraiment une affaire merveilleuse.
There are Igbos in Gabon. Normally, yes, the indigenous community of the Igbos in Gabon. So, it's not just in Equatorial Guinea. We have Igbos in Gabon. However, the Gabon will mostly be a community of Igbo-speaking people, okay? So, yes, we have a lot of Igbos in Gabon too. Do not feel surprised when you go to Gabon and you hear people speak Igbo. Brothers and sisters, let us go to Cuba. Igbo language has its roots in Yoruba. In fact, this is Yoruba dialect. Okay, the story remains the same. Cuba is another country where some of the people trace their ancestral origin to Nigeria, Yoruba Nigeria. Do you know that there is a museum that is being dedicated to the Cuba Yoruba deities? Okay, so 80% of the Cuban population are either full-blown worshippers or initiates of the Orishas.
Ogun Ikara Agbagmin, Ogun Elemona Nigbe Sushu, Ogun Akiru Agba Wagbo, Ogun Beno Beno, Era Onije, Ogun Makide Sidogun Lani Oji, Bio Bagba Safa Agbagoki, Agba Ukuvuku Agba Kemberi, Ogun Olododorogun Udemi Amarorima Amatabusu, Bonini Torini Pelaja Ogun Kankadela Ye, Emuloka Beru Libato de Lureo, Ogonide O Olona Ola.
My questions are, how did this language and religious practices survive centuries in these lands despite slavery? Why do many Yoruba Cuban believe and still believe strongly in our Yoruba traditional practices? Now let's go to Jamaica. In Jamaica, there are people of African descent, many of African descent, especially the Nigerians. Okay, so as for the Nigerians, which will be our focus for today, we are talking about the Igbos here. Igbos constitute a large portion of the African population enslaved in Jamaica. There are also other languages and other people from the Yoruba, from the Akans. Okay, so the Akan language, the Yoruba language, the Efik language, the Igbo language, plus the English language. These are part of what made up the patois. For instance, Akara. Akara is Akara in Yoruba, also Akara in Igbo language. You people is Unu. That's Unu in Igbo language. Then Imoso. The Igbos, you know, trying to sigh, okay, which is Igbo language. So. That's so. That is only, okay. That's an Igbo language. We have Ato. That's chewing stick, which is Ato in Igbo language. Okay. You have the country Igbo. That's a Igbo. Igbo say, you know that one. Then Chenche, which is Igbo language, that's bedbug. Somebody will say Jinkono, that's Jinjoko. Okay, Jinjoko, that's like a yam, especially when you want to celebrate your New Yam Festival. There are ancient Igbo practices in Cuba, Belize, Dominican Republic, Barbados, and Bahamas. Also, in El Salvador, there are ancient Yoruba practitioners and proud speakers. You see that our culture can never be taken away from us. Our identity is an integral part of us, and we will not let it die. God bless Nigeria.
Walking down the streets, feeling the breeze. In the sunshine state where dreams come with ease. Palm trees swaying with the ocean in view. This is the place where I always feel brand new. Sipping on a smoothie, chilling by the shore. Got my shades on, feeling like I can't be ignored. Sun-kissed skin, feeling so alive in the soft rap game. I strive to thrive. Waves crashing on the sand as I ride the vibe. Soft rap flow.